Any one dish perfectly, what would it be? Anything. I can't cook. If it weren't for Wade, Rosie and I would live on like ramen noodles and peanut butter and jelly. Which luckily she likes both of those. So we wouldn't starve, but it wouldn't be pretty.
Hey, it's Audrey, Stitchy Witch 42. It's Monday, April 16th. Sometimes bookkeeper brain just says, no, we're not going to tell you what the day is because I worked yesterday and Sunday I work on Saturday's work, so Monday is Sunday. And this week I'm working different days because my counterpart is on vacation and I don't know what day or date of the week it is. If my alarm goes off in the morning, I get up and I go to work. And then I figure it out. It's the way my brain works. Anyway, if I do this right, you're going to see a little video at the beginning of this before I started talking. That kind of shows you my living room and where I sit and stitch. And you may have seen Michelle Bendy Stitchy on my TV because, yeah, I have to get some Michelle in, you know, it's a thing. So anyway, this is my stitching spot. This is my chair, all my goodies and paraphernalia are around me, and I just thought that I would do my video from here today. Weather here in Oregon has been rainy and cold. It's April. We're supposed to have rain. It's one of the reasons why we have such a lush, beautiful state is because of the rain. And I'm good with that. It's okay, as long as I'm inside and I'm warm. But I do want to get out and get some work done in my garden. There's a lot of weeds that need to be pulled. And for me, with my knee issues and everything, yeah, I can't get out there and kneel, but I can get out there and sit on my shower stool and pull weeds. And while the weather's like this, it's a good time to pull weeds because they just pull right out of the ground really, really easy. But it's cold out there and wet, and I don't want to do those. That's me. So anyway, besides just having rainy weather, we had an earthquake here Saturday night. Oregon has them. So far we haven't had any big ones, but we've had some earthquakes around here. Saturday night I went to bed a little bit early. I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to work, so I was in bed Saturday night about 8. I wanted to read for a little while before I went to sleep. Finished the Harry Potter fan fiction story I was reading. Had just turned off the light, had just rolled over and started to snuggle into my bed, and all of a sudden felt like this big wind hit the house, and then you hear the creak and the groan of the wood. And I'm laying there thinking, that was an earthquake. Yeah. So I laid there for a few minutes. Is it going to happen again? Is Mark going to yell at me from downstairs saying, did you feel that, Audrey? We need to get out of the house. No. It was a 3.1 magnitude earthquake. It was centered 9 miles from Salem, 9 miles east of Salem, which means it was about 6 miles from us. Yeah, they seem to happen around here. In December, we had an earthquake here. I know it was December because both of our chairs were over against this side of the living room to make room for the Christmas tree, which goes here. And Mark and I were sitting by each other and felt it underneath the house, and I made the comment, I said, was that an earthquake? And Mark goes, he didn't feel it. But the neighbor on the south of us called right away and asked Mark, did you feel the earthquake? And he goes, no, Audrey just felt that. And so I called the neighbor on the north side of us, and they'd felt it too. come to find out, that one was a 3.9 earthquake, and that one was in Malala, which is 15 miles northeast of us. And then back in 1993 we had the big spring break quake. Obviously it happened in spring break. That one was a 5.6 magnitude earthquake, and that one happened, the epicenter was Scotts Mills, which is 8 miles east of us. So they happen around us, and like I said, none of them have been really, really bad. The spring break quake did do some damage in our house. Nothing structural, so you know, that's all good. But you don't want to hear about earthquakes. You want stitching stuff, right? So I've got some things to share with you. First of all, I had done that little coffee break video. Excuse me. The Christmas bauble. That's my Mr. Cross Stitch, Not So Secret, Christmas cross stitch, bauble, whatever. This is the one that I've got finished, and I used DMC 666, and then I used one of the variegated reds that I had found at Goodwill. The problem with the variegated red is that the red part matched the 666, and so when I first started stitching it down here on this corner, and I was doing it at a diagonal, I ended up with this huge red area all across here, and I didn't want that. So I took all that out, and then I cut out all the dark red from that variegated floss so that I was just using the dark pinks and the lighter pinks and the whites. And I think that it gives it almost a peppermint candy kind of look. I know I'm going to do at least one more of these, so you know, that is one of my projects. I have been working on my Witch's Gate at work. I just dumped everything in the bag on the floor, and it's gonna stay there. Yeah. So I have been doing my Witch's Gate. I'm almost finished with the outlining of this part of the gate. I then need to do the detail work here, over here, and this part down here, under here. I've started the other pillar because I was getting so tired of $37.99. Yeah. But I am working on it. I'm going to turn my camera and hopefully you'll be able to see it. Alphonse Mucha. This line right here is my halfway mark. My goal on this was to be halfway by May the 4th because that's when I started it last year. So I reached my goal, and then I got this whole section down here stitched. Some of this had been done before I did that part. So yeah, I am now at the halfway, beyond the halfway mark. There I am, I'm back. Aren't you happy? And then my squiddlies. You wouldn't want me to be prepped for the videos, would you? So, ink circles, elegant squid. I'm working on the second squid down here. I think I have 2 tentacles left on it, and then I can finish filling in the island blue down around this area and move over to these 2. I realized when I moved my Q-snaps to work on this bottom section here that I cut the fabric really, really tight. There's still enough room for me to work with for however I decide to finish it. But This fabric, it just says linen, but it's one of those fabrics that has, it's very slippery feeling to it, and it wasn't holding in this part of the Q-snaps. I stopped at the little thrift store that I drive by in Canby. It's a Kiwanis thrift store, and I found, you know, that rubbery shelf lining stuff that you can buy? Well, they had 2 scraps of it for 55 cents each, and I thought, I'll get those. I got up front, and the guy goes, oh, you have blue tags. What's a blue tag? Well, it means you get them for 50% off. And I said, oh, so I get both of them for 55 cents. This is bookkeeper brain here. This is bookkeeper brain. If you have 2 items, and they're 55 cents each, and someone tells you that you get them for half off, that means you're going to get both of them for 55 cents. And this gentleman goes, well, I don't know if that's how it's going to work out or not. Okay. So he talks me through what he's doing on his little register, and he goes, 50 cents times 2 divided by 2, and he goes, that's 50 cents for both of them. And I said, no, it's supposed to be 55. And I handed him the extra nickel and walked out of the store thinking, is math that difficult? That if something is 50% off, and you have 2 items for 55 cents, that you don't know you're going to pay 55 cents for both of them? I don't know. Anyway, it just kind of blew my brain. I came home and I cut down 2 of those pieces of that shelf lining stuff, and it made it nice and snug, and has now made this corner really tight, which I needed so that I could work on it. So those are the things that I have been working on. And I got some magical arrivals. I got another postcard from Jay. She sends so many to me, and I absolutely love them. This one doesn't have any bats on the back of it. I have a strawberry and a little flower with a heart in the center of it. But I've got to get my button gear and get some postcards mailed out and everything, because she definitely deserves one back. Anyway, love that. Yeah, there you go. I think I have a pattern somewhere that's very similar to this that I want to stitch. And then I got an envelope from Pennsylvania. When Jay sent me Eleanor Rigby and I stitched it, I asked her if it was okay to pass it along, and she said yes, that would be perfectly fine. The lady I sent it to, her name is Donna, and she lives in Pennsylvania. She sent me this, and in it was Hetty Potta, with a really nice note that she was going to stitch the pattern for her daughter, who loves the Beatles. She's not sure what date she's going to put on it, but she'll figure it out. But when I sent that pattern to her, I sent her an Addams Family postcard with it. She said the other daughter wanted to take that Addams Family postcard. So Donna, if you're watching, leave a comment on this video. Give me your daughter's name. Tell me a little bit about her, and I will send her her own Addams Family postcard. She also sent, besides that, a lovely little note and a pattern from the 90s. This little thing is, well, it's displayed in a hoop, and she said she did it that way, but it's black thread on orange 14 count Aida, and I actually have some orange Aida upstairs that I could use. But it's 5.5 by 5 3/4, so I think I might be making another pillow for my cauldron. Yeah. Magical arrivals. Who knew? They could be so much fun. And the other thing that I did last week is I went through and I organized all my patterns into 2 notebooks. I thought I would be able to fit them all into one, but that didn't work because some of them are already kitted up. Some of them are kits, some of them I've got the fabric with them, some of them I've got the whole stuff together. All of those went into one notebook, and then the other one I put all the patterns that either I haven't worked on yet and I really, really want to, or the patterns that I have worked on and I just can't part with the patterns at this point. And I ended up with a small stack of stuff that I know I'm just never ever going to stitch it. So I'm going to pass it along. I'm going to cover both Christmas and Halloween. The first one is a little Mill Hill kit. Winter Holiday Star Santa. And the other one I think I got the pattern free when I bought the buttons. There you go. It's called Girls Night Out. It comes with the button pack. Anyway, when I got on Facebook this morning, one of the groups that I was on, they had posted this thing that said, comment what the last thing is that you did and add like a witch. So, if you're interested in these 2 things and you want to add them to your stash, stitch them, or whatever, you have to leave a comment on the last thing that you did and add the line like a witch. And next week, I'll tell you who's getting them. So that's my update for this week. It's not a lot. Mine are never very long. That works for me. Anyway, I will talk to you all later. Thank you all for visiting. Live long and stitch on, my friends. Bye-bye.